Hello, one all, Stone, Chapter 210, No One Way. And as it turns out, Chrome and Suika aren't all that fond of the plan to send Senku up to the moon and then basically just leave him there for what could be the rest of their lives, so they've decided to figure out somehow, some way to bring him back. Huzzah! And while I certainly applaud their efforts and their intentions, I think they are seriously underestimating just how difficult this process is going to be to figure out some way to basically create a return rocket, a return capsule that can launch off the moon, pass through Earth's atmosphere, and then land on Earth without smashing into a million pieces or burning up on re-entry. So, yeah, there is a whole lot of work they gotta do to accomplish that. And the first step might actually be the most terrifying, as they've decided to learn math from Sai, which, oh god above. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sai is certainly a genius, but have you ever actually tried learning something from a genius? They don't really have, a normal person's point of view, a normal person's point of reference. I mean, Sai said a couple chapters ago that the average person can do 10-digit multiplication in his head given enough time, and yeah, I seriously have to disagree with that, Sai. I mean, I tried. I really, truly tried, and I not come even close. I mean, I think even 5-digit multiplication would be pushing it for me. It actually kind of reminds me of a scene in Arifureta where Tio and Shia ask Yui to teach them magic, and Yui's first lesson basically goes, okay, go Blammo, Kazawi, Waha, and that's it. That's how you cast a spell. And this means absolutely nothing to either of them, even though Tio is fairly well versed in magic, because Yui is just such an absolute genius at it that she really can't explain it. She can't dumb it down to the point where anyone except a true genius can understand it. And I'm afraid that's what we're going to see next chapter, Sai's going to basically say, okay, and that's how you do fourth dimensional derivatives. Any questions? And Chrome and Suka's hands will both pop in the air because they have no freaking idea what the heck he's talking about. I mean, Sai did say that he worked teaching math to pay his way through college, so, I mean, that's something at least. I mean, he must have had some experience teaching this to other people, so maybe that won't happen, but even if Sai is just, a truly gifted teacher, even if he can dumb it down to, explain to the average person, Chrome and Suka aren't really the average person. I mean, their education has been, kind of a mixed bag of a lot of things, just basically what they needed for the situation they were in, and they don't have the same basic knowledge the average high school student would have, so there's a lot of little things, a lot of little bits and pieces they might not be aware of that Sai will need to teach them, and that's gonna be interesting. It's definitely be interesting. I really do hope they show some of Sai's lessons, show everything he's trying to teach them. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a lot of fun and a lot of frustration, but I would like to see that. Seriously, imagine, this author basically trying to explain math to us, trying to teach us math by reading the manga. That would be very interesting. I think we all might learn something from it. Curious. But anyway, back to start this chapter, they are doing a whole bunch of mining, especially Yo, who looks very annoyed. I mean, he was so frustrated with building all those computer circuits back in Corn City, he figured, I'm gonna come to Australia, that'll be better, but it's just more hard labor, though I'm actually kind of curious. Which one do you prefer? Building those tiny circuits again and again, or swinging a pickaxe all day? I mean, I think personally I'd rather, be building the circuitry in a nice, cool, air-conditioned room that seems way nicer than working outside in the blazing sun, but at the same time, I get really frustrated working with small parts. I actually start, shaking and twitching when I do it, so, I don't know, maybe I'll take the pickaxe. But let me think else down below. What would you rather do? Build the circuits or work outside to mine bauxite? Bauxite? Bauxite. Hey, I got it right in the first try. Good for me. And then we actually get to see the diagram for making aluminum, and as it turns out, it is a rather complicated process. I mean, first take the bauxite and mix with our old friend sodium hydroxide to form alumina, then you mix that with the fluorite from Spain, and a crazy bad amount of electricity, and you get aluminum! Yay! Though this crazy bad amount of electricity is certainly a key sticking point right now. I mean, apparently it took $30 million worth of electricity just to create the aluminum needed for the Apollo rocket, which, wow, that's insane. That is seriously insane. And the only way to realistically produce that much electricity is with a hydroelectric plant. But unfortunately, Australia is kind of dry and kind of flat, so it doesn't really work out all that well for making a, dam. So instead, they're going to need a place that's, very hilly, has a lot of streams and rivers, and man, where could they find a place on Earth that's like that? wait a minute, Japan! Yay! We are finally going back home, finally going back to land Japan, finally gonna wake up all our friends and family and, explain to them what's been going on for the last couple of years while they were asleep. Oh, I so hope they do, do Suika right. I want them to have a whole chapter where everyone in the village reacts to Suika being older, more mature, more trained scientist. Oh, that'd be adorable. That would be so freaking adorable. We also do get another shot of the map right here, and there's some interesting elements here. I mean, for one thing, I don't actually see Rubber City on this map at all. I mean, that was a big thing, when they first show us the map. It's okay, we're going to Rubber City eventually, but no, it's not here right now. So curious. I mean, I'm fairly certain they need rubber to make a rocket, but again, it's not on the map, though I guess they did kind of collect rubber in South America when they needed to build the tires for the motorcycles. So maybe that became Rubber City, and now wherever that place is going to be has been crossed off the map. I'm curious about that. There's also one arrow that seems to be pointing, directly up. Is that just in reference to the, the Medusa, the petrification device, basically saying, oh, we got that from the moon, from the Y-Man, and it's going to play a role in us building this rocket? I mean, I'm not sure about that. I mean, actually, I think about it, it would make a certain amount of sense if they petrified themselves, when they first went up in the rocket. That way they don't have to worry about, dying from fire, lack of oxygen, anything like that. They don't have to worry about making the conditions, survivable, and more than that, they don't have to worry about the astronauts being able to survive, basically being launched into freaking space. I mean, Tsukasa, maybe even Ryu could probably survive that. But Senku, yeah, I kind of feel like the force on his body would break him very, very easily. So maybe, they're going to petrify themselves, shoot up in the air, and then have some sort of time release it off to unpetrify themselves. They can land the moon, find the Y-Man, beat the Y-Man, and repetrify themselves again. That would make a certain amount of sense, I think. Curious, very curious. But anyway, speaking of Medusa, they decide to lock it up again because, as it turns out, it is seriously dangerous and can be used, petrify the entire planet. Again, like Senku did just a few years ago, or the Y-Man did before that, or I guess technically both times were because of the Y-Man, or at least because of the Y-Man's voice, so curious about that. But, either way, super dangerous, and it's best kept in a soundproof vault where absolutely nothing can reach it. Huzzah! Though, of course, Ryu is able to see through this and realize, wait a minute, the only reason why he'd be going such extremes is because Medusa can grant immortality, can't it? Which, he just kind of screams out loud. And Ukyo is very taken aback by this, very surprised by this, which, oh god, poor Ukyo. I really don't think he was supposed to hear that big bad secret. I'm kind of curious. I mean, that could be interesting if that was like a big plot line down the road. Someone Ukyo cares about gets hurt and he wants to use the Medusa to save them, but Senku's against it, turns Ukyo against them. I mean, very unlikely. This is probably just a throwaway joke, but I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I definitely think that'd be interesting. And then Senku explains the reason why this trip to the moon is going to be one way is because actually being able to build a return vessel, actually being able to test everything needed to figure out a way to safely come back from the moon would take up so much time, so much energy, and sooner or later, the Y-Man's going to realize, wait a minute, you aren't petrified anymore, and then try to petrify them again, or send killer robots from the moon to come after them, which is a theory I've had for a very long time, which just sounds so utterly insane, but I still really like it. And like I said before, Chrome is just really not a big fan of the whole let's send Senku on a one-way trip to the moon plan. And he has such a shonen protagonist mindset here, thinking, okay, it's not a total victory, it's not a true victory if we don't all win, if we can't all be smiling when this is said and done, which, oh my god, that is, I want to agree with him on this, but at the same time, the world is not that fair. The world is not that nice. You have to accept some losses. You have to accept some compromises sometime. I mean, this is Shonen Jump, so not usually, but in the real world, you have to accept some loss, some compromise. You have to realize, okay, we can't get everything we want. We have to suffer a little bit. We have to lose a little bit in order to make sure that everyone else can win. And Chrome realized, I can't go to the rest of them. I can't convince the rest of them to build a return rocket because we are on a deadline. We don't know when the Y-Man's going to find out about us. When he does, he will come after us somehow, some way. So I need to do this almost entirely by myself. Or at the very least, I need to take some serious steps forward to figure out the solution, to find a way to make this work. And thankfully, Suka's right there, and she is also not a big fan of the whole let's send Senku on a one-way trip to the moon plan, so she decides to join him. She decides to help him as the two youngest scientists of Ishikami Village. And I just love the absolute sparkle in her eye when Chrome asks her if she wants to work together with him to build a return rocket to the moon. She is so excited. She has become a true scientist after those many years living by herself in the Amazon rainforest. Though those also made her a bit more practical, as she says, so what are we gonna do first? Don't we need a teacher or something? And, Chrome realizes, yeah, that's a problem I didn't actually think through, did I? We need to build a return rocket, but we know absolutely nothing about building rockets, or math, or science, or really anything besides what little Senku has taught us over the last couple of years. And now the story is essentially split. On one hand, Senku's building a one-way rocket to the moon, a rocket that'll take him there and then leave him there for decades or centuries. He knows that once he goes up, there's a very good chance he will never see anyone he's ever known for the rest of his life. While Chrome and Suika are just trying so very, very hard to learn everything they need about modern-day rocketry, to find a way to build a return rocket, to find a way to let Senku come back home after his mission is over. And I'm interested. I'm very, very interested in what's going to happen next, because, right now we have Sai teaching them everything you know about math. But moving forward, are they going to find other teachers, other people they need to encounter, talk to, learn from? Are they going to learn about rocketry from Ryu? Are they going to learn about, I'm not sure who else they would learn from. I mean, who else among the modern dayers can really teach them anything that'd be useful for building a rocket? I mean, maybe Joel can teach them about craftsmanship, engineering, but I'm not so sure about that. Very, very curious, but let me know also down below. What exactly are they going to learn from Sai? How much lessons are we going to see? Who else are they going to go to? Who else are they going to learn from to help build this return rocket? Actually, now thinking about it, Zeno would make a certain amount of sense. So I guess he'd be, in South America. They're going to be in Japan. So communicating back and forth would be a bit of an issue. And I feel like he's going to be, really, really busy dealing with building his own one-way rocket to the moon. And like Chrome said, he's all about efficiency. So the plan to just send Senku there and leave him there makes way, way more sense. Especially because Senku would get in the way of Zeno's plans to overthrow, Senku's government and take over the entire world. Yeah, that's still an issue. That's still an issue they need to deal with, once the Y-Man has been conquered, vanquished somehow, some way. What else? Chrome said something rather interesting. When he was talking about who was going to go up in the rocket, he said the pilot's obviously Ryu. As for the warrior, probably Tsukasa or Hyoga. Which, interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, we all assumed, it would be Tsukasa. That's who was shown in the image before. But Chrome thinks, Tsukasa isn't guaranteed. Hyoga is another very real possibility here, so curious about that. I mean, I don't think it'd be him. I feel like he's, I was going to say selfish, but I mean, he did sacrifice himself to save Kohaku in the battle against Stanley, so that seems, inappropriate to say right now. But I feel like, he'd want to, stay on Earth, enjoy his time on Earth, rather than go to what could very likely be a suicide mission on the moon, when there are other people who can take on that role instead of him. I'm also seeing a lot of people online saying, oh, could Stanley be the soldier, and maybe even the pilot for the rocket? That way they have an extra seat so they can bring someone else along. And that would also make quite a bit of sense, and I would so love to see Stanley come back. I mean, I saw a lot of people in the comments who just absolutely freaking love Stanley, and want him to come back, want him to be redeemed somehow, some way. Oh, that'd be interesting. It'd definitely be interesting. But, anything else down below, be sure to like, subscribe to the next video. Until then, almost forgot. Next chapter comes out on Friday instead of Sunday, so I'll probably do my video on Saturday, more than likely Saturday. I look forward to that. I can't freaking wait. But anyway, until then, peace!